let's talk about, it all starts with the writing. So, where did Izzy come from?
I good question. It's actually a character that I've been dealing with for, I'd say, almost like 15 years. And it's not even like I've been writing the script for that long. It was more like my writing process, I come up with, here I go talking about the writing process, right?
I
My
knew
writing
it
process, I
lured you
come up
into
with the
it.
character. And I'm so character driven, and almost like an annoying place where I want, I'm writing a new thing now too, where it's like, it's a single lead character and everybody else is supporting. Because I really believe in first person point of view movie making. So I'm always trying to, okay, who's a character that's really interesting to me? And I just always had this image of this girl in the back of a taxi cab in a bloody white tux. And I was like, is that the end of the movie? Is that the beginning of the movie? I don't know what it is, but that's a really interesting image to me. And then so then over time, I just sort of started to fill in the characters and characteristics and backstory and all that kind of stuff. But that's just sort of where it came from.
Well, Mackenzie, obviously Izzy is so many things. She's just way more complicated than just a riot girl. So when you read this script, what did you like best about her? What made you say, "Yep, this is me. I want to do this"?
I never know exactly what I like about characters, but I do like I'm a very different person around or especially when I was younger, like around my parents versus how I was around my friends or my teachers or whoever. And I felt like I've always really liked characters that shifted who they were the way that we all do, to depending on who their interlocutor was, without it feeling like phony or they were manipulators. And there were so many opportunities for Izzy to shift her identity in a way that's still totally authentic to the person that she is, without it feeling like she had multiple personality disorder. It felt like a very organic expression of the many selves that we have, and I liked all of the ones she had, even the grading ones.
How did you assemble this amazing cast?
First off, shout out to casting directors
Yeah.
everywhere because
Yeah.
they work so hard and I don't
They
feel like they get
do.
enough credit. So
Yeah.
that's what I want to say about that.
Two things. I mean, one was Mackenzie was always our first choice, and we didn't know each other. She didn't know us, and early on we sort of put this thing together. We had, no money, and which is like somebody's gonna ask us at some point, like, well, okay, what do you have? How much money do you have? We really had nothing, and so we were kind of going. The first thing we were told is Mackenzie's not available. So we're like, okay, we'll go on down the road and see what's going on with some other people that we like and whatever. And then all of a sudden it was like late in the process. It was like October, and we were going to shoot in January. One of the big things we're like, we're going to set a start date, because if we don't set a start date, then it becomes flexible and everybody sort of disappears on you and all this kind of stuff. So we're like, we're going to set a start date. We have enough money to shoot production, so we're going to set a start date and we're going to get somebody to be the lead actor. And hopefully everything sort of flows through there. And Mackenzie wasn't available, so we're going down the road with some other things. And then all of a sudden, somebody.
And then we kept watching *Halt and Catch Fire*, and we were like, "But Mackenzie."
Well, but then all of a sudden it was like, "Hey, listen, she's available now," and it was like, "Okay, well, great. Well, let's send it to her and see what happens." And then you can take it from there.
And then I joined the cast.
But then, yeah, but then.
No, and I loved the script so much and asked if they'd let me produce it with them because it was something I was interested in being involved with, and they graciously let me join in for just the creative part and none of the hard stuff, and then Chris and I just sort of went down the list and talked about our favorite actors and who we'd envision, and we kind of set the bar high and wrote letters to all the people that we really loved and really wanted to be in the movie. And for some reason, like, almost all of them said yes.
Wow.
Which is it's wonderful and we're very lucky, but it also, it's the kind of actor that all these people are, that they're willing to, they like acting. Like, they like coming for a day and playing around. And it's really nice to work with actors that like to come and just like fuck around for a day and that still have that sort of thrill of like drama class in them.
Well, and help, we were in LA, and so people could kind of just come for a day, and it was like they would just, okay, we're only asking 2 days. The only person that was with us more than 2 days was, I think, Alex Russell.
So as producer, were you involved very early on? Have you been sort of with this project from its inception?
Well, Chris is my husband, so it was pretty fucking unavoidable. But I'd say I was pregnant with our first son, and we were sitting by a pool and just talking about wanting to make movies and not wanting to wait, but to just do it. You know, we were both antsy for something creative to do. I used to work in casting, and he was doing some other projects, and he had mentioned this woman in a bloody tuxedo, and I was like, yes, tell me everything about that, because I think I know her. And so as he said, I'm gonna just do it, I'm gonna write this script. And I think I was still maybe working in casting, or I just quit casting around that time. And he wrote it really quickly. So from the first draft, or like notes, ideas, we discussed a lot of the scenes. So yeah, it was fun to be a part of that with him. And then he said, you're already getting your hands in this so much, I really want you to produce it with me. And I said, no, that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. Like we have a son together, we live together. Like I think there should be a line drawn. And then, you know, we were talking about cast ideas, and I'm giving him some lists, and then we're talking about locations, and I'm making phone calls, and he's like,
tricking you.
yeah, and he's like, actually, a
What do
good
you think
friend.
about this?
And then a good friend of mine said, so how's everything going? I said, good, yeah, well, and you know, Chris is doing this movie, and so I'm doing this, and he asked me to produce, but I said no, and they were like, well, fucking newsflash, you're producing it, like, now. And I was like, you're right, I should take credit for that.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, and I'd like a contract, and I'd like it in writing,
Wow.
because if I'm gonna produce it, I'm gonna be fucking professional about it.
Impressive. So you guys mentioned location work. So I'm trying to remember. Is there any scene that wasn't shot on location?
No.
Like you didn't do it. I mean,
No. You mean like with money?
Yeah.
Like you had money to do
So
something?
What
like
I'm
build
hearing is
something?
that the budget for this film was what you took from her drawer in that scene. Like when you
Pretty
put that
much,
change in your
yes.
pocket.
Yeah.
Was that the entire production
Yeah,
budget
I mean,
right there?
yeah. You know, this was shot in friends' houses, Airbnbs, and we got the really nice house for the engagement
Yeah,
party.
the Los Feliz.
That was like a really amazingly lucky thing that happened to us that probably shouldn't have, but it did.
Okay, so
So-
it's not your house.
No.
You know, just
But it was a really crazy place at the top of this gigantic hill. Like super dangerous to drive up there at like 3:00 in the morning. But you know, people got up there. Everybody survived, which was great.
But
That's
I'm
always
just
a
gonna
good
say, if
thing.
you believe in fate, it was a lot of fate, because it was like, holy shit, we lost a location. We don't have a fucking location. What are we gonna do? And then someone was like, well, I'm selling my house.
you can trash it for
It's
a day.
empty. Just, yeah, don't break anything.
Yeah.
And you're like, we went and scouted the house, and I'm like, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't want equipment in here. Like, what are we gonna do? But we had a bunch of we lost our first location
Like the day.
2 days
Yeah.
before we were set to shoot.
Yeah.
Because they were like, newsflash, they're gonna do work on the water mains under my street. So the streets are all closed, and there's gonna be construction.
And he was a good friend of ours, and he was really broken up
Felt
about
so
it. And he was
bad.
just like, I
Aw.
don't know what to tell you. The city's telling me I got to do this thing. So we're just like, oh, fuck. You know, it's just like one of those things. But, you know, whatever, Meghan just kind of worked her magic, and we powered through it.
Well,
You know, I mean, but it's.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, you figure it out, and you don't have money, but you have people that really care about what you're doing. I mean, a really simple expense on pretty much any movie, I mean, I'm talking like a student film, is a dolly. We didn't
Yeah.
have a dolly. There's no dolly shots in this. The camera never moves. There's a steady cam shot at the end of the movie we got a friend of ours to kind of give us a favor. We paid him a little bit of money, you know, but we got half a day out of him. But we had like cameras on sticks. I mean, it was like, you know, I wouldn't even say like a 40s movie because they had a dolly. You know, I mean, so we didn't have anything. So it was either on somebody's shoulder or it was on sticks, and that was it. I mean, we just had to kind of make that work, whatever that was. You know,
Yeah.
but I'm very meticulous in my sort of planning. So if I know what my limitations are, I'll just work to that. So everything's storyboarded just to be that sort of structured concept, you know, thing. So it worked out the way it did.
thank you all for bringing Izzy to us and sharing her with us.